With each episode, WandaVision keeps revealing new and more interesting layers to this strange new reality. To find out what's hidden in the basement, keep watching for Easter eggs you missed in WandaVision. WandaVision's 7th episode, Breaking the Fourth Wall, brings us to the late aughts, early 2000s in terms of sitcom references. Wanda, Vision, Agnes, and even Darcy participate in talking head segments in which they speak directly to the audience, mirroring the mockumentary stylings of sitcoms like Modern Family, The Office, and Parks and Recreation. While the style used in episode 7 feels most like Modern Family, this isn't where the intro comes from. With its flashes of things you'd expect to find in a workplace like computer screens, calendars, and the I Love Wanda coffee mug, plus the derivative theme music, it feels a lot more like the intro to The Office. Speaking of office comedies, just before the theme starts, Wanda tries to laugh off the bizarre things happening in her home with "It's probably just a case of the Mondays." That's not a reference to The Office, but rather a reference to the 1999 comedy Office Space.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
The opening few minutes of episode 7 also hide one more Easter egg. As Wanda-themed objects appear one by one, a license plate with Wanda has the numbers 12, 28, 22. Those numbers are a reference to Stan Lee's birth date of December 28, 1922. Although the late comic book icon won't be making any more cameos in future MCU projects, the subtle shout-out makes it clear that Lee is gone, but definitely not forgotten. In episode 6, we got to see Billy in a more comic book accurate costume, while Pietro gives Tommy an outfit that looks like a smaller version of his own, along with an embarrassing hair makeover. In the following episode, both twins get to looking more like their counterparts in the source material. Breaking the Fourth Wall doesn't show the brothers in their costumes, but the color scheme of their clothing does reflect those of their comic book costumes. The green and white of Tommy's outfit look a lot more like what he wears as the young superhero Speed. Who knows? Maybe before WandaVision closes its curtains, we'll finally see both brothers in full-blown superhero costumes as Wiccan and Speed. And if that happens, could a Young Avengers movie or TV series be far behind? When Wanda gets her breakfast, she's understandably freaked out about her milk's container transforming a few times. At one point, it becomes a carton with the picture of a missing child on the back, though we can't make out the child's face. Putting the pictures of missing children on milk cartons became customary in the mid-80s, so it's interesting to remember that the WandaVision episode dealing with the 80s, episode 5 on a very special episode, also happens to be the same episode in which Vision points out that Westview's children are missing. Wanda's cereal is interesting as well. First, the brand's mascot is a cartoon clown, and at the end of the previous episode, Wanda's expanding hex radius changes the S.w.o.r.d agents into circus clowns. Second, there's the name Sugar Snaps. It's impossible to see or hear the word snap in an MCU production without thinking of the most infamous snap of all, the one Thanos makes to kill half the universe. As a result of Wanda's swiftly expanding hex radius at the end of episode 6, unlike most of the S.w.o.r.d agents who are turned into clowns, Agent Monty is changed into the circus strongman. It's unlikely that Monty has been made into any kind of superhero, but at the same time, when we see a guy in a comic book TV show in a colorful, tight outfit with a big S on his belt, there's a good chance that means something. When you combine the S with the blue and yellow color scheme, there are a couple of different superheroes this could be referencing, and both of them are super strong. One possibility is the mutant hero Strong Guy. When he first joins the new version of X-Factor, Strong Guy, like the rest of the team, wears a blue and yellow uniform. Another possibility, and a more fitting one, is the Sentry. Like Monty's getup, Sentry's original outfit is yellow and blue, and it includes an S on the belt. Also, while he isn't introduced until 2000's The Sentry #1, it's revealed the hero has been around since the early days of Marvel, but the entire world has forgotten about him, including the Sentry himself, just as Monty has forgotten who he is. Understandably, because of reports that Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff will be an important part of the upcoming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, fans have been theorizing that WandaVision would have something to do with Marvel's vast multiverse. One of the most overt signs we receive in the story itself is the commercial in episode 7. While the same man and woman who regularly appear in WandaVision's faux commercials weren't around in episode 6, they return in Breaking the Fourth Wall for an ad that mimics antidepressant commercials. The brand name of the medication is Nexus, a word that has two meanings in Marvel Comics, both of which relate to the multiverse. There's Marvel's Nexus of all realities, which in the Prime universe of the comics exists in the Florida Everglades and is guarded by the monstrous Man-Thing. As the name implies, the Nexus is a gateway to Marvel's other realities. And then there's Wanda herself. In the comics, Wanda is the Nexus being of the Prime Marvel reality. As a Nexus being, Wanda reflects her reality's defining characteristics and can alter the flow of the future. In the 1998-99 miniseries Avengers Forever, we learn the powerful Immortus knows Wanda is a Nexus being, and fears the possibility of her having children even more powerful than herself. He manipulates events to pair Vision and Wanda off as a couple, in the futile hope that Wanda's coupling with an android could never produce offspring. In episode 4 of WandaVision, we hear echoes from 2019's Captain Marvel as Monica is resurrected during the blip. We hear those voices and more again in episode 7 as Monica forces her way through the Hex barrier. And this time, it seems clear Monica is hearing them as well. We hear the young Monica talking with her late mother about helping Carol Danvers. We hear Nick Fury tell her that she can only follow the adult heroes as she can learn to glow like her Aunt Carol. And we know in the comics she does glow. We also hear different people like Dr. Harley and Jimmy Woo speaking about the death of Monica's mother. And of course, we hear a refrain of this line.
Your mom's lucky. When they were handing out kids, they gave her the toughest one. Lieutenant Trouble. You remembered.
It's those words that give Monica the strength to push the rest of the way through the barrier. Piercing the Hex barrier gives Monica superpowers, though it isn't clear exactly what those powers mean. We see her eyes glow blue several times, and she recovers so quickly from Wanda's assault toward the end of episode 7 that even Wanda is shocked. In the comics, Monica is quietly one of the most powerful heroes in Marvel. She's had a number of aliases, the most recent being Spectrum, and after she's bombarded with energy from another dimension, she gains the ability to transform into any form of energy at will. She's also had another alias that's been hinted on screen before, Photon, just like Monica's mother's call sign in the MCU. By the end of breaking the fourth wall, a lot of fans' suspicions that Agnes might be more than a friendly neighbor seem to have been confirmed. Wanda's own suspicions are sparked when Agnes leads her into her home and Wanda notices the twins are nowhere to be seen. She then sees a large, loud insect on the window shade. She asks Agnes where the boys are, and Agnes answers that they're probably just playing in the basement. Wanda goes down to the basement to look for them, and we get the episode's biggest reveal. This all unfolds like a tribute to the Silence of the Lambs. Toward the end of that film, the hero, Clarice Starling, believes she's just doing a routine interview about the first victim of notorious serial killer Buffalo Bill. She's speaking to a man who now lives where the person she wants to interview used to live. She's already suspicious of his manner and some of the things she sees in his house, but when she notices a large exotic moth, something the killer leaves behind in his victims' throats, that seals the deal. She pulls her gun on him and he runs to the basement where they have their final showdown. When Wanda and Agnes confront each other in Agnes's basement, we learn Agnes isn't Agnes. She's the witch Agatha Harkness. We then get a montage of moments throughout the series when it's revealed Agatha was manipulating events. It isn't clear, however, exactly what Agatha is after. Harkness isn't a villain in the comics. In fact, at different times, Harkness has been Wanda's ally and even a mentor. While not really a superhero in the traditional sense, she has surfaced every now and then to aid superheroes during different mystical crises. So while it's finally confirmed that Agnes is Agatha, we still don't know why she's there. It also isn't clear just what she means when she says it was her all along. Did she manipulate Wanda into creating Westview, or did Wanda do it on her own and Agnes is taking advantage of the situation? Just before Agatha reveals herself in the basement, Wanda notices what appears to be a very serious-looking tome shimmering with crimson energy. We're not exactly sure what this is, though it could be the Darkhold. The Darkhold is probably the most infamous magic tome in the history of Marvel Comics, sought after by the likes of Doctor Strange and even the Vampire King Count Dracula himself. The thing is, we've already seen the Darkhold in the MCU, in both Agents of S.w.o.r.d. and Runaways, and it didn't look like this. But on the other hand, it isn't completely clear exactly what canonical weight a lot of the Marvel TV series have in the MCU. Whatever it is, when we see Agatha use magic, it's accompanied by purple energy. The energy coming out of the book, on the other hand, is more red like Wanda's. Also, the design of the book's cover features two sets of adjoined rings, kind of like twins, and Wanda's boys are nowhere to be seen. Whatever the book is, whether it's the Darkhold or something else, it could be acting as the twins' prison. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite WandaVision moments are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.